Hi, everybody. We're so glad you're back. What a great morning we have for you, because we've got a lot for you that is going to pertain to Valentine's Day. If you're planning a romantic dinner for your Valentine, well, the right spirits to toast your love, well, it's a great way to start. Bill Mahoney is back from Premier Wine and Spirits with some sweet choices for your sweetheart, and there's even a little bit of a Sabres message in here. Hi, Bill. How are you?
Good, Linda. How are you?
Good, good. We're showing that Sabres jersey. We should start there.
Yeah, actually, tomorrow at my location on Transit Road, we have Andrew Peters, who will be out there. So any of you hockey fans that'd like to get an autograph, Bully Hill is the official wine of the Sabres, and they have a couple special bottles with the Sabres logo on there.
That's a great keepsake.
Yep.
Really.
They make two different wines with the new logo on, and you can easily just purchase a bottle, and he'd be happy to sign for you or your Valentine.
That's great. There's more of a white label on the back of that bottle, so if he is able to sign the back, you'd really be able to see it.
Right, and usually they use those like silver paint pens, and so a nice little silver pen right on that blue Bully Hill bottle would stand out really nice.
Oh, that'd be fun. All right, so once again, what time will Andrew Peters be there in case people would like to bring the kids?
Tomorrow at the Transit Road Premiere in Williamsville from 5 to 7.
Okay, great.
So,
and purchase not necessary?
Not necessary, no.
So come on in and see Andrew, and it's perfect because it's Bully Hill.
Exactly, yeah. The bully of the team, right?
Okay, well, that might be the perfect gift for your Valentine,
exactly.
a bottle of that.
Exactly.
All right, Bill, you've got a whole table full of wonderful choices,
and first things first, you know, to start off with the tradition that we usually do here, this is for you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
I know how to score those brownie points.
See, Vinny, this is what you should have done on camera 3, but we won't go there. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I'm going to leave lipstick right over.
All right, eat your heart out, Buffalo.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, if you're like me, and I can admit this because I think my girlfriend is at work and probably not watching, but
go ahead, keep talking.
Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Sorry.
But now she could get jealous about that. You never know. But no, I actually waited a little bit too long and procrastinated, and I didn't make dinner reservations. So now I'm stuck scrambling, and I have to cook. Okay, so now I'm not the greatest cook in the world. So I spent yesterday all day long at the supermarket buying all kinds of different ingredients and everything.
Sweet.
So, but now, if that might be the easy part for some people, it was a challenge for me. The easy part actually is picking the right wines to go with dinner.
Yeah.
So, you know, being Valentine's Day, it's a decadent holiday. It's all about love and sugar and sweet, and so that's why I decided to pick out a bunch of different wines that were sort of that way.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, naturally people think of white Zinfandel or Riesling for sweet choices, but there's a lot of other choices out there. You know, white Zinfandel tends to be kind of like just the picnicky, simple, fun type of sweet wine, and it's a little bit more sugary. A sweet wine doesn't necessarily have to be sugary sweet.
Which we learned.
Right. You can have natural sweetness from the grape, and what makes it less cloying and sticky sweet is balanced acidity, and that's that thing that makes your mouth water after you swallow. So in addition to the traditional table wines like Riesling, there are great German Rieslings out there that will allow you to choose your sweetness level based on when it's harvested throughout the year.
Interesting.
And there's different words that you can look for, and any of our associates can kind of guide you that direction.
Okay.
Of course, bubbly, that's always a great choice.
Bubbly is good.
Champagne and strawberries. In the sweet category, if you're looking at champagne, there are sweeter ones out there, sweeter than extra dry. A lot of times people think extra dry means the driest, but actually Brut is the driest. Extra dry has a little bit of sweetness, and then in traditional French champagne, there's something called demi-sec, which is actually quite sweet and rich, but they tend to be expensive. Astis from Italy will be your sweet, less expensive choices. Maybe not quite as complex as a demi-sec from France, but considerably less expensive. So there's great choices there. And then a whole host of dessert wines that you can consider. You know, most people in this area, of course, are familiar with ice wine.
Ice wine's wonderful choice.
And we have an ice wine here open today that we can try.
What a coincidence.
And you know, a great segue, the name of this wine is I Baci, or the kisses in Italian. Yes, so I just got a kiss, and that's the one right in the center there.
I Baci.
So that's what we have open.
Okay.
And cheers.
Cheers. Oh, now it's I Baci Italian?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's actually, it's a Canadian ice wine, but just an Italian name. But you can just smell that really nice apricot and peach and just concentrated kiwi and starfruit.
This is so good.
Isn't it nice?
This is really so good. It's wonderful.
And it's not, you know, even though it's got more viscosity than regular wine, it doesn't leave your mouth just like really sticky, syrupy sweet.
No, it's just like drinking liquid gold. I can't explain it because I'm very particular when it comes to wine, because some wines don't like me. This is just wonderful.
It's delicious, and smelling it is half the fun. You know, when you smell this, there's a particular characteristic which might get a little technical, but it's called botrytis. And what happens in some dessert wines that stay on the vine a long time, especially like they do in Canada, the Canadian law requires that their grapes be naturally frozen on the vine, where in New York State they don't have to be. They can be flash frozen in big rooms. Now, when that happens, you get much thicker skins, and in some cases, the wines can be affected by a particular type of rot. And botrytis is the rot, but it's actually a noble rot, because what it does is it takes all of the water out of the grapes and really concentrates the juices within the berry. And you get that kind of smell, and you might not be able to identify that smell, but botrytis aroma, think of it like...
it's almost a perfume.
And honey, almost.
Very much so.
If you can think of honey poured over fresh straw or hay, that's the aroma of botrytis, in addition to all those great fruits of apricots and peaches and nectarines, all those, you know, nice stone fruits.
Well, you know, think of mushrooms and truffles and blue cheese. They all have a form of something in there that you wouldn't ordinarily go looking for.
Right.
And it's the same thing with this noble rot, so to speak.
Exactly.
It kind of makes the
opposite
wine.
end of the spectrum. You know, this is a very particular aromatic, and with the foods that you were describing, that's a very savory aromatic. And so, you know, when we were doing that food wine pairing 6 months ago or so, you know, we were doing savory dishes with savory types of wine, and here, you know, is a particular kind of dish that would go really well with a whole host of desserts. You know, you'd want to go with lighter desserts. This would be great with cheesecake or something.
Yes, it would. And you would save your ice wine until dessert.
Correct. And the one rule of thumb when it comes to ice wine or pairing dessert wine with dessert is that you always want to make sure that your dessert wine is sweeter than what you're having it with. So maybe like a cake with like really sweet frosting would be too sweet for this.
I see.
So, and you know, remember when we did that Stilton cheese with ice wine? Great match. So you wouldn't necessarily think so, but those two things go great together.
This is wonderful. So these are just a few of the ideas, but look, you even have red-colored. Is this a wine or a spirit?
That's actually a spirit. It's a more of a liqueur. It's a cognac with passion fruit.
Oh, gosh.
So, and it's called Red Passion.
Oh, isn't that great?
And there's all kinds of other things out there. You know, of course, there's Godiva makes a chocolate liqueur.
Oh, that would be a wonderful gift.
And they make dark chocolate cappuccino. They make white chocolate. Mozart is another producer that makes a chocolate liqueur.
Now, I have a question for you. You brought Di Serono, and I see their commercials. What is this? I always say I'll have a Di Serono, but I don't know what it is.
Almond liqueur, and it's also they call it the liquor of love. Is the old ad campaign back in the 70s.
Okay.
So that's why.
So it didn't matter what it was. It was the liquor of love.
The liquor of love.
That's all people needed to know.
Yep.
So it's similar to an amaretto.
Yes,
almond?
it is an amaretto.
Amaretto.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And Di Serono would arguably be probably one of the best producers, top shelf.
So now we all know what it is.
Yep.
And you've brought a bottle of this before. This is great in coffee.
Yes. Yep. That's really good stuff.
I don't know if you can see this on camera.
And it's got a little bit of a risque name there, but...
I didn't even see it. Oh, I see. All right, well, you have to discover that one when you get there.
That's a secret one you can ask for. What's that secret wine?
What's the secret one that you put in your coffee?
Yep.
And they'll show you that at the store. I
That's
didn't even
always,
know. No wonder you put it in the back.
Kind of hiding there, kind of hiding. And then there's, you know, just great themed wines. You know, there's this particular wine from Spain, San Valentine, and it's got the little cherub. We did this last Valentine's Day. So, you know, if you're just looking for a nice little wine that kind of goes along with the theme of Valentine's Day, you can easily pick those too. And this is great. You know, this is a nice white wine that's kind of off dry. Not as sweet as Riesling, but it's just very crisp and refreshing. And so if you like Pinot Grigio with that kind of acidity, but maybe want it just a little bit hint sweeter, this would be a great choice.
And I have to ask about this because I said you actually brought a wine called Dr. Loosen.
You can loosen right up.
Yeah, loosen up. I mean, then you say that's the way it's pronounced too, loosen.
Yep. So there's great choices in that category as well. And you know, with Riesling, so many people just are accustomed to seeing Riesling on the label, but with German Rieslings, they'll give you a designation as to either a Cabernet, a Spätlese, or an Auslese, and that correlates with more like dry, semi-dry, and late harvest in New York State Rieslings. So the later into the harvest, the sweeter and more unctuous that the wine becomes.
When people come into the store, Bill, do they just come up to you and ask you questions like this? Because it's so helpful.
All the time, and that's what our staff is there for. We're there to help.
That's what you're there to do. And if you have additional questions for Bill, he even has a website where you can go to his email and just email him directly. Because you may have a certain entree picked out and you'd like to know perhaps what wine goes with that best. But by all means, all of these are available at the Premier Group on Transit Road in Williams. You'll give them a call at 565-3020. 5220. And once again, Andrew Peters from the Buffalo Sabres will be visiting the Transit Road store
from 5 to 7 tomorrow.
From 5 to 7 tomorrow, Valentine's Day evening, 5 to 7. And there's a great new Bully Hill Sabres wine that he can sign for you, all right, if you so desire. Bill, thank you. Thank you for the rose.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for the ice wine.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you very much, darling. You're certainly starting off great the day before. We'll take a break and be right back.